Welcome back to Tea House Dives, where every drama has something worth appreciating. Episode 5 opens with a warning. A radio announcer speaks about a comet known as the Ill Omened Star, a celestial sign associated with the rise of a villainess. So, of course, we immediately focus on Seo-ri. But what if the real disaster isn't a villainess? What if the real disaster is two people falling in love when they desperately shouldn't? The episode begins on King Anjong Avenue. I don't think this is accidental. The story is literally placing our characters on King Anjong's road. No matter how modern this world appears, the past is still guiding their footsteps. Se-gye and Seo-ri can change clothes, name, and centuries, but they cannot escape the path history has placed before them. And that brings us to the title, Forbidden Fruit. A forbidden fruit is something deeply desired but dangerous to consume. For Seo-ri, love is the forbidden fruit. Her childhood in Joseon explains everything. At only 12 years old, she learned that kindness often comes with hidden conditions. A kind woman fed her, comforted her, and appeared compassionate. Then she sold her. That lesson became the foundation of Suri's worldview. Every act of kindness feels like a trap. Every helping hand feels like a transaction. Every promise feels like the beginning of betrayal. So when Se-gye shows concern for her, she doesn't see safety. She sees danger. Not because she dislikes him, because she likes him, and that terrifies her. The rooftop confession proves it. She rejects him twice. She claims she feels nothing, but the moment he leaves, she collapses. Her heart is racing. She felt everything. The rooftop scene is fascinating because it is the only place where the social status becomes equal. On the rooftop, there is no chairman, no corporate empire, no wealth, no palace hierarchy, just two lonely people. The moment Se-gye storms into her apartment, however, that equality disappears. He is trying to pull her into his world. She responds by calling him a straight mutt. Neither can fully understand the other's reality. And that is why the rejection hurts so much. For the first time in his life, Se-gye discovers something money cannot buy, a woman's heart. The scratch on his luxury car feels symbolic. His perfect life has finally been marked by chaos. And that chaos has a name, Shin Seo-ri. But Seo-ri is not the only one facing forbidden fruit. He is facing it as well. His entire life revolves around control. He keeps dash cameras off. He trusts nobody. He sees people as allies or enemies, black or white. Everything must fit into neat categories. Then Seo-ri arrives. She doesn't follow his rules. She doesn't flatter him. She doesn't fear him. She doesn't even accept his confession. She forces him into uncertainty, and uncertainty is poison to someone like Se-gye. That is why he literally describes her as poison later in the episode. She is dismantling the system that allows him to feel safe. One of my favorite symbols in episode 5 is the dash cam. Most of us see it as paranoia. I see emotional self-defense. Se-gye removes every possibility of leaving evidence behind. No recordings, no trails, no vulnerability. Emotionally, he does the same thing. He never leaves evidence of his heart, until now. Mr. Sun gives them perhaps the most important advice in the episode. Love is warfare. Losing is winning. That idea completely breaks Se-gye's brain. This is a man who has never lost a business deal. Now he is being told that surrender is a path to victory. For perhaps the first time in his life, he must stop performing strength and embrace vulnerability. Which brings us to the peacock scene. The television narration about courtship isn't subtle. Se-gye buying expensive suits and sending coffee trucks is exactly like a peacock displaying feathers. The powerful CEO suddenly looks ridiculous. Not because he's weak, because he's terrified. For the first time, he genuinely cares about losing someone. And that's what makes the scene so charming. Now let's talk about the flowers. In the Justin flashback, the prince give Kang the Sim white daisies. White daisies symbolize innocence, purity, and gentle comfort. He saw her pain, he offered compassion, nothing more. In the present, Se-gye gives Seo-ri red roses. Red roses symbolize desire, passion, and romantic pursuit. The flower symbolism tells us exactly how the relationship has changed. The prince wanted to save her. The CEO wants to love her. The story has moved from innocence to desire. And finally, we arrive at the airplane. This may be the most important setting in the entire episode. Seo-ri accidentally sits in the first class. Then she's sent back to economy. Immediately, she notices the hierarchy: beggars, commoners, nobles. The palace never disappeared, it simply evolved. The social system that separated them angels and still exists. It just wears modern clothing. And this is the real reason Seo-ri fears romance. The issue isn't attraction, the issue is inequality. Falling for Se-gye means risking another situation where someone powerful controls her fate. Then everything changes. Se-gye collapses. Seo-ri abandons logic. She abandons caution. She abandons survival. All she can think about is saving him. And that's when the forbidden fruit is finally consumed. The AED shocks is hilarious on the surface, but symbolically it's devastating. For 5 episodes, both characters have been trying to deny their feelings. One electric shock destroys that illusion. The moment she grabs his hand, instinct overrides reason. Her heart reveals the truth before her mind can stop it. And when they are both shocked together, the story visually tells us something important. Their fates are now connected. Neither of them can return to who they were before. This episode ends with Seo-ri repeating her vow. My welfare comes first. My welfare comes second. I will protect my heart. But we already know the truth. The battle is over. Because when Se-gye's life was in danger, she chose him without hesitation. The forbidden fruit has already been tasted. And once you take that first bite, there is no going back. The episode begins with an ill-omened star, and it ends with an electric shock bringing Se-gye back to life. A star traditionally falls from the sky, bringing disaster. An electric current travels through the sky on an airplane and brings life. The episode starts with a prophecy of doom, and it ends with a symbol of resurrection. As we wrap up today's Tea House dive, I would love to know what stood out to you the most. Was there a symbol or character moment that caught your attention? Pull up a chair and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for stopping by the Tea House today. If you'd like to join us for future deep dives, consider subscribing. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you at the next Tea House dive.